70. All his sons were conscient in my birth. This is my silent, dark immensity. This is the home of everlasting night. This is the secrecy of nothingness, entombing the vanity of life's desires. Hast thou beheld thy source, O transient heart, and known from what the dream thou art was made? In this stark sincerity of nude emptiness, hopest thou still always to last and love? The woman answered not. Her spirit refused the voice of night that knew, and death that thought. In her beginningless infinity, through her soul's reaches unconfined, she gazed. She saw the undying fountains of her life. She knew herself eternal, without birth. But still opposing her with endless night, death, the dire god, inflicted on her eyes the immortal calm of his tremendous gaze. Although thou hast survived the unborn void, which never shall forgive while time endures, the primal violence that fashioned thought, forcing the immobile vast to suffer and live, this sorrowful victory only hast thou won, to live for a little without Satyavan. But if thou still canst hope and still wouldst love, return to thy body's shell they tied to earth, and with thy heart's little remnants try to live. Hope not to win back to thee Satyavan. Yet, since thy strength deserves no trivial crown, gifts I can give to soothe thy wounded life. At last she spoke. Her voice was heard by night. I bow not to thee, O huge mask of death, black lie of night to the cowed soul of man, unreal, inescapable end of things, thou grim jest played with the immortal spirit. Conscious of immortality I walk, a victor spirit, conscious of my force, not as a suppliant to thy gates I came. Unslain, I have survived the clutch of night. My spirit shall be obstinate and strong against the vast refusals of the world. I stoop not with the subject mob of minds. First, I demand whatever Satyavan, my husband, waking in the forest's charm, out of his long, pure childhood's lonely dreams, desired and had not for his beautiful life. Give if thou must, or if thou canst, refuse. Death bowed his head in scornful, cold assent. indulgent to the dreams my touch shall break. I yield to his blind father's longing heart, kingdom and power and friends and greatness lost. Back from the grandeur of my perilous realms, go, mortal, to thy permitted sphere. But Savitri answered the disdainful shade, world spirit, I was thy equal spirit born. I am immortal in my mortality. My soul can meet them with its living fire. Out of thy shadow give me back again into earth's flowering spaces, Satyavan. Wherever thou leadst his soul, I shall pursue. Out of the rolling wastes of night there came, born from the enigma of the unknowable depths, a voice of majesty and appalling scorn. Hast thou god wings or feet that tread my stars? Mortal, whose spirit is my wandering breath, whose transience was imagined by my smile, flee, clutching thy poor gains to thy trembling breast. Depart in peace, if peace for man is just. But Savitri answered, meeting scorn with scorn, the mortal woman to the dreadful Lord. Who is this God imagined by thy night? My God is will and triumphs in his paths. My God is love and sweetly suffers all. Love's golden wings have power to fan thy void. The eyes of love gaze star-like through death's night. The feet of love tread naked hardest worlds. He labors in the depths, exults on the heights. He shall remake thy universe, O death. And death made answer to the human soul. What is thy hope? To what dost thou aspire? This is thy body's sweetest lure of bliss. And thou, what art thou, soul, thou glorious dream? Wilt thou claim immortality, O heart, crying against the eternal witnesses that thou and he are endless powers and last? Death only lasts, and the inconscient void. I, death, am the one refuge of thy soul. Because, O aspirant to divinity, thou calledst me to wrestle with thy soul, I have assumed a face, a form, a voice. One endless watches the inconscient scene, where all things perish as the foam the stars. The one lives forever. There no Satyavan changing was born, and there no Savitri claims from brief life her bribe of joy. There love came never with his fretful eyes, there love came never with his fretful eyes of tears, nor time is there, nor the vain vasts of space. If thou desirest immortality, be then alone sufficient to thy soul. But Savitri replied to the dread voice, O death, who reasonest, I reason not. Reason that scans and breaks, but cannot build, or builds in vain because she doubts her work. I am, I love, I see, I act, I will. Death answered her, one deep, surrounding cry. Know also, knowing thou shalt cease to love and cease to will, delivered from thy heart, so shalt thou rest forever and be still, consenting to the impermanence of things. But Savitri replied for man to death. When I have loved forever, I shall know. I know the calm transcendent bears the world, the veiled inhabitant, the silent Lord. I feel his secret act, his intimate fire. I hear the murmur of the cosmic voice. I know my coming was a wave from God, for all his sons were conscient in my birth, and one who loves in us came veiled by death. Then man was born among the monstrous stars, dowered with a mind and heart to conquer thee. He stood in silence and in darkness wrapped, a figure motionless, a shadow vague, girt with the terrors of his secret sword. Half seen in clouds appeared a somber face. Night's dusk tiara was his matted hair, the ashes of the pyre his forehead sign. Once more, a wanderer in the unending night, blindly forbidden by dead, vacant eyes, she traveled through the dumb, unhoping vasts. Around her rolled the shuddering waste of gloom, its swallowing emptiness and joyless death, resentful of her thought and life and love. Through the long fading night, by her compelled, gliding half seen on their unearthly path, phantasmal in the dimness, moved the three.